Hello, this is Haiku here for some more historic Pauper deck techs for Midweek Magic. I'm going to be starting with Grixis Gargantua decks. I have two different versions. There's a bridge version, which I'll show you right now, and a version that doesn't use bridge. The way that this one is distinct is it uses Cleansing Wildfire to target your own indestructible lands to ramp yourself into more mana and control the game that way. So how else does this play out? So basically, it has some efficient creatures. These two. Modern Age plays well with discard. And there's also Hunt for Specimen is another discard outlet. Bone Shards is another discard outlet, and Mightstone's animation will be another discard outlet. Now it's about. I'm assuming tomorrow, at the Tuesday patch, they will release the alchemy version of this card, which only costs 3 mana, and it draws 2 cards and discards 1 card, so it fuels your madness. The combo is get your Gargantua into the graveyard and then unearth it and then place Kaya's Ghostform on it. Basically, then you will get to keep your Gargantua forever. And so you get to draw 2 cards. You do lose 2 life. This deck does have a issue with life, and so that's where the Hunt for Specimen comes in, finding environmental sciences in the board to try to gain a little bit of life. Another nice combo is Tithing Blade got added, and then Tithing Blade with Planar Incision. Well, Planar Incision can bounce the Gargantua. It also can bounce the Tithing Blade if you need to. And then the rest, there's just a bunch of removal spells. It's a solid deck. You do chew through a lot of cards pretty quickly, so you can get a lot of selection, and most of the cards are pretty, this is just a burn spell, this is another burn spell, so you can just kind of play them regardless of what actual cards are. Here's another removal spell. So overall, it's pretty flexible and presents a pretty quick clock that also draws you cards, so it works out pretty well. Slower version, since you're not ramping yourself with the bridges, is this deck. And so the draw of not playing bridges is you can play with Lorraine Revealed and Mystic Sanctuary, which is an excellent combo. You can cycle Find Your Sanctuary, and endgame you can just Lorraine Revealed to draw 3 cards. I am playing with 1 Terror in this one because there's less threats since you can't play with the artifact aura. But there's some benefits. So since you're playing a Mystic Sanctuary deck, you can play a lot of 1-ofs of individual spells that are very powerful. And instead of using Kaya's to keep your Gargantua, you can use Essence Flux, and it works the same way. So Essence Flux, Gargantua, you get to keep it forever. I'm playing a little bit more Bone Shards because I can pull it back with Mystic Sanctuary and to enable all the discard, since I'm missing one of the discard outlets. Same plan here with Hunt for Specimen in the board, but also able to turn on your madness. Okay, the last deck is more unique. It's Grixis Affinity. I'm not a big player of Grixis Affinity, so I don't even have the deck crafted on Arena. Hopefully you don't mind, but this is basically taking from what other people have built the deck, but I just kind of tried to add in Mightstone's animation into the deck to try to get it to fit. I think it's going to be a pretty strong addition to Affinity as well, to put it on a bridge and you have an indestructible 4/4. And then also, like I said, it's going to be cost only 3 mana, and it's going to be draw 2 and discard 1, although Affinity is not going to take advantage of that. So Blood Fountain is a nice fuel to get a lot of artifacts in play, and then Rebuke is a nice payoff for being an Affinity. Tithing Blade is another new addition to help out Affinity. And then I'm just playing red for the Wildfire ramp plan, again, to destroy your own permanent or your own indestructible land to ramp yourself. And then a couple removal spells in red. There are a ton of other ways to build Affinity. I'm going to include a lot here, but some shoutouts are Witching Well, just a solid draw spell. I elected to go with the Deadly Dispute and Reckoner's Bargain draw package, but Witching Well is also a fine draw package. Candy Trail is an excellent card, can help filter your draws and add to the artifact count, and then you can later on crack it to draw a card. Inverted Iceberg, another new addition, also another solid choice. Can't quite use the mill in this deck, other than I guess making it easier to Blood Fountain back your Marinforce and your Gearseeker Serpent. But these are the engines that run the deck, so just bringing them back a couple times just really crushes the opponent. You know, you can maybe deal with one or two of these by like team blocking them or something like that, but after you bring back the first set with Blood Fountain, generally the game is put away. Here's the new another Deadly Dispute-esque thing, but I think Reckoner's Bargain to gain life is more important than Fanatical Offering. Another Enter the Battlefield artifact, another Enter the Battlefield artifact to consider. Cast in the Fire is always very scary for this deck, so just be careful when you Cleansing Wildfire your own land, that they don't have a red and a colorless, because they can exile the bridge in response and set you back a lot. And then here's some other cards to consider. I think Undercity's Embrace is another solid option because you have so many 4/4s. Actually, I'm going to put it in just to play it with main deck. Anyway, I'll figure out another card to cut. So that's Grixis, and that kind of wraps up. I did leave off one deck, which I'll be posting its own individual thing with, but those are most of the decks that are viable in Historic Pauper. There is the Hexproof S decks in Bant colors. You can play full on Bant, you can play Azorius, you can play Selesnya. I don't think you can really play Simic though, but that deck really got hurt by the existence of Tithing Blade. You can see I can play it in all the decks that are playing black. I'm playing Tithing Blade, just anticipation of that deck being a thing. Ancestral Mask is a real threat, so you have to be ready for it. I just didn't want to highlight the deck. I think it's kind of boring to play in interactive, where these decks are much more interactive. But there was one interactive deck that I did miss, and so I want to show it off in its own video. It's another Rakdos deck to give you a preview. All right, actually, I think I've already figured out I'm going to probably have to cut the Metallic Rebuke to fit Undercity's Embrace. Anyway, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this run through of all the things, and hopefully you guys can take a variety of these decks out, and hopefully if you really like the way that Historic Pauper plays, check out the Discord link below. We play Pauper on Arena all the time, and you can get into playing these games and then start figuring out how to build sideboards for the meta. See you guys for another video. Bye-bye.